Díomh go léir agus fáilte. Hello everybody and you're very welcome. It's lá all in it's a good day today. Now I've got an exercise here in front of me where I've used tools. I've gone a bit forward, so I've used tools like the rule here. I've used a square, I've used a marking gauge, and I've used a saw. And I've got to this stage. Now I'll backtrack on all this, of course, where I've got a piece of timber squared with a face mark and a face edge on it. Come back to that also. But in this case, I just want to do an exercise where I'm taking out a trench like that and to show the use of the chisel, basic use of the chisel and the wood together and the human frame. The chisels, all tools, are designed by humans for humans, so they're effectively an extension of our body. I think everybody will understand that. But the way we use them and how we use them is very important, and also the reaction of the wood to the actual tool itself. Now, it's always important to listen to the wood, because the wood will always teach you something if you're prepared to listen to it and visualize it and observe it. What do I mean by that? Let's go to the wood itself and let's go to look at the use of a chisel. So if we pop the piece in the vise here, I've got a piece there that's marked down to the line there and I want to take out a trench. As I said, the chisel is an extension of the human form. So ergonomics comes into it. Now I'll speak more about that as I go down the line. The comfort factor effectively of the tool in the hand. How it's held, how it's balanced, how it moves in the vertical, how it moves in the horizontal, all those different planes of direction. So the mechanics of the human body come into play in connection with the ergonomics of the chisel itself, or any tool for that matter. So let me explain. The tool and the material and how we work it is very, very important in fine furniture making or in fine practice. Let's just call it fine practice, because it can apply to other things other than cabinet making, which I'm often applied to as well. So, holding the tool to take out a trench, I would normally hold it in that fashion, where the thumb is here and I'm working its center. I can feel its center of gravity, which the handle is heavier than my hand here. The palm of my hand or the heel of my hand here will come onto the tool. I'll drop it down about 1.5 mil. I don't go down to the line and give it a good flake, because recipe for disaster, I'll have breakout, no question about that. And you don't use that practice when you're doing anything in fine furniture. It's an absolute no-no. Everything is controlled, as I kept saying before. It's flow, it's discipline, it's feel, it's balance. It's working in harmony with the tool and the material together and the body. So that's vitally important. So I have the material held like that. The mechanics of the body also allow me to do actions like so. Curvature. It'll also allow me to go up, down, or flat across. So in this case, I'm about 1.5 mil below. I've got the heel of the hand here on the vise. I'm 1.5 mil below, and I have the palm of my hand here. I could, if I wanted to use a mallet, and the action would be controlled. Now you probably notice straight away that the chisel is falling, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm down here about 1.5 mil. Get used to using the heel of your hand. You'll get a better feel for the wood as you do that, rather than using mechanical aid. That's perfectly useful, of course, for its own reasons, but for something small like I'm doing here, it's not necessary. So as I'm doing this, the wood will work in a certain fashion. It'll either work smoothly for me, or it'll come out rough. Now, bear in mind, the chisel is extremely sharp. Now, in this case, I'm getting a relatively clean cut. And if I take that out of the vise, and I'm down close to the line there, I leave it like that just for a moment. I can go down to the line, but just to go to the other side, sometimes, or always, I shouldn't say sometimes, you're into, mostly, when you go to work it from another side, one side will work smoother than the other. And this is the smoother side, this one here. Now I've learned that now, and I've found out that the wood has taught me this is the smoother side to work from, and this is the rougher side. So I'll come back to the rougher side just momentarily. I'll pop it back in the vise. Now I could have finished this already, and I'm going uphill, as you'll notice, control all the time with the chisel. So I'm down the line there, and the gauge line, don't even need to look for it really, because the chisel will slot into it. So I go down there, I have that finished, it's right at the line now, pop it around the other side, And what the wood is telling me is that you finish across from the wood telling you that that's the easiest way to go. In other words, it reacts swimmingly to being worked from this side rather than the other side. Now you must work both sides, so that's all the more reason for controlled effort there. You're taking off a cutting like that at all times. Now this will go for whatever wood you're working with. It's just best practice, and that's what I would be doing. When I have it down, you'll have a little V in the middle like that, coming from uphill both sides obviously, and you'll finish from the best side, which is this side in this case. Now I change hand position. This one stays where it is, but I'm using a controlled movement. I want it to remain flat. So in order to remain flat, this is what happens. The hand is on the chisel there, and my change happens here. I just come out here, and now I push, and I control the amount of push with this hand. So they're both working in harmony across the piece like that, and I can wriggle it a little bit. In other words, a slice in action, because I can come ever so sliced, like you would with a bacon slicer, and I can just literally, nice and gentle, work down to the line. Now you'll notice there when I'm not looking at camera, the concentration is going to make sure that I'm flat, that I'm keeping that chisel flat across the base of that trench. And what that ensures when I am down to the line, that if I go to do it there, or go to look at it and I put it on the line there, that there's no daylight in between the chisel. In other words, that surface there is perfectly flat, checked with the edge of the chisel. So there you are, working with the material in harmony with the tool and in harmony with the body. It's the connection of the human to the tool to the material, and that's the closest connection you'll get to nature. That's what machines or power tools can't do. When we go away from bench skills, we're gone away to mechanical means, and that was a whole debate around the arts and crafts movement way back, and I'll speak about that further down the line. Now when you're working with material, as you can see there, it's blemish free. That's not always going to be the case. So don't ever shy away from where there's a nice dirty knot like that, or a knot that's a dead knot. There's different types. However, just for the moment, go at a piece like that as well. Put your saw cuts in and chisel accordingly, like I've just shown you there. It is necessary to be able to work natural defects into the wood there like that, or to be able to work with natural defects. So go and do that. You'll also learn a little bit from the knot. It'll teach you something also. That's for you to find out. The surprise is in doing it. So go and do that. Don't ever shy away from say, oh, that's a knot, I won't use that. That's exactly what you do. Okay, so Sinead on law and you, that's as much as I'll cover today. Mahuas vacant, hope might be useful to some of you. Mahuas vacant, good on you for looking. Feckin' tu go lua, we'll see you soon. August tog the buggy. Keep practicing. Bye for now.